You know, we're middle of Chumash Devarim now. And for those who are following along in the last few weeks, Chumash Devarim, Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking to the Yidden and repeatedly warning them again and again and again and again. And one of the things that comes across multiple times again and again, in every single one of the parshas, the recent parshas, is Moshe Rabbeinu is admonishing the Jews again and again against Avodah Zora. Don't do Avodah Zora, don't do Avodah Zora, stay away from Avodah Zora. Shamar lechem ben yiftel avavchem v'sartem avadatem elokim acherim, right? V'shtachvisam lehem. And sometimes you wonder. What relevance does this have to me? I don't know, apparently a few thousand years ago there were some silly people who enjoyed bowing down to pieces of wood and to stone. And to me that holds no allure whatsoever, no attraction. But we know.
They said, well, Mevatel the Yetzer Hara.
And the Gemara says that Mevatel the Yetzer Hara, right?
That's why you can't relate to it.
Good. So then it turns out that this is all irrelevant stuff.
Yeah, right now.
It's all irrelevant. You're learning Chumash Devarim and half of it's irrelevant. Not only Chumash, every time you say Shema, Vayim Shema, you're talking about irrelevant stuff. When you're saying to yourself, Yishamru lachem, ben yiftel avavchem, v'sartem avadem kimachem, you're like, yeah, that was relevant 2,000 years ago. Why am I still saying it today? Weiß ich nicht.
Because you believe in the Eiko Zov.
Moshe Rabbeinu standing talking to the generation of Yidden who are about to enter Eretz Yisrael. And he's trying to tell them, you're going to go into Eretz Yisrael. You know, until now, the last 40 years, you were in the desert. And here in the desert, it was pretty obvious, it was pretty clear that Hashem controls everything. And Einoid Mulvadeh. You wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast.
Yeah, on the door.
It's the mun. You want a drink of water? It's not from seltzer bought from the store. It's the Be'er Shel Miriam. Your clothing is washed and it grows with you from the Nani HaKavod. Someone comes and threatens you, Moshe Rabbeinu picks up his arm and there's a sea standing in your way, it splits. But you're going into a land and you're not going to have all that anymore. And suddenly the attraction of Avodah Zora is going to become very clear. What is Avodah Zora? Avodah Zora is the opposite of Hashem Echad. There's something else. There's something else that's important. There's something else that exercises control over me, or that has authority over me. There's some other power that I have to placate, that I have to please. And Moshe Rabbeinu was telling me, Yidden, no. At the core and the essence of Yiddishkeit, the first and only things that you heard from Hashem were what? Anochi Hashem Elikecha and Lo Yeh Lecha Elokim Acherim. That was the only two things that the Yidden heard directly from Hashem. That's the core of Yiddishkeit. The core of Yiddishkeit is the belief that Anochi Hashem Elikecha, that there's an Eibishter, Hashem Echad and Lo Yeh Lecha Elokim Acherim. There's nothing else. There is no other power. And Moshe is trying to drill that into the Yidden again and again. And as you know, the Yidden went into Eretz Yisrael. And they didn't, and for very often they weren't able to overcome the Nisayon of Avodah Zora. At a certain point in time, as you mentioned 2,000 years ago, the form of Avodah Zora, which expressed itself in bowing down to a piece of gold, went away. But Avodah Zora, it's still here. Like you said, the Egel Hazav, whether it's we worship money, whether we worship coffee, whatever, or the biggest Avodah Zora is whether we worship ourselves.
How?
I am something. I am a Metzias. Ich. That's the biggest Avodah Zora. And that is the ultimate purpose for why we were created. The ultimate reason why Hashem put us down here in this world is that a Yid should be able to stand over here in this world, in Olam Hazeh, in a world that's filled with Avodah Zora, and turn to it and say, nothing of you matters. You don't mean anything. You're worthless. Ein Oid Mulvadi. There's nothing about the Eibishter.